Welcome, replay viewers, and good morning again, everybody. I decided to set my iPhone up on a tripod to give you a better, steadier view of what's going on here this early Tuesday morning here on Eastern Long Island with the flooding after yesterday's storm. Nabul, again, good to see you. I thought I'd do this with the tripod now to give us a little steadier photo. Let me just pan around a little bit. The cloud patterns are terrific. And now the sun is breaking through some of the clouds, so we're getting some really interesting lighting patterns on the water with the clouds and everything. It's really beautiful here this morning. Very mild so far today, but we on the back side of this storm now. We're supposed to have temperatures drop all day long, and it will be below freezing tonight, and tomorrow is only going to be in the high 30s Fahrenheit or low 40s. So we're going to get a little bit of a early winter blast. Keith in Miami, hi to you again. Good to see you. Yeah, I was telling the viewers earlier in my earliest short broadcast that we had this horrendous storm come through the metropolitan New York area yesterday, all day long. I haven't seen driving rains like that in years and years. And the winds were almost to hurricane force at times. They had to be gusting well over 60 miles an hour at times. There were warnings of tornadoes to the west of us in New Jersey. We didn't have anything like that out here, but the driving torrential rains were the worst I've seen in this area in a long, long time. Quite a few branches down in the yard from trees around here and debris of that nature. And actually, this tide is still rolling in. Last night was full moon. Of course, there's a lag time between the time full moon passes through here and then the tide rolls in. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. This is definitely higher by a half a foot or so than I was out here 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago. You can get some idea of what I'm talking about here. The water is up over the bulkhead. Let me just swing around here. This is looking at the neighbor's property to the south of us. Our floating dock is isolated now. The tide is up above that. It's at its highest peak. I'll just pan slowly back the other way. Let me get a view looking out toward the ocean. Good morning to you. Hello from Texas. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you again. I'm just showing folks flooding here on the morning tide, morning full moon, from the aftermath of this horrendous storm we had go through here, the Northeast yesterday, all day yesterday. Had high winds near hurricane force for quite a few hours. Winds had to be well in excess of 60 miles an hour, gusts maybe even a little higher than that. driving torrential rains. The house is okay though. There was a little bit of flooding, a little bit of water weepage underneath the deck door leading from the kitchen to the deck, but other than that, everything's okay. No damage to the house. Okay, this is looking to the south toward Moriches Bay, and then about 1.75 miles across, you can't make it out right now in the haze and the fog, but is the Barrier Beach, Fire Island Barrier Beach, and on the other side of that is the Atlantic Ocean. And if I stay quiet for a few minutes, you can hear the roar of the ocean along the beach over there. So that if you do hear that background noise, that's the actual high surf on the beach. And now the sun is breaking through here, so let's pan around that way. Center it on that. Yeah, let me zoom back down again. Pinch it out without destroying the image. Bear with me, folks. You have to do this 2-finger pinching, and it'll make the image bounce for a little bit. There, that's full width landscape mode. Ah, look at that sun now through the clouds, the top of the clouds with the reflection off the water. Pretty neat. Oh, you do hear it? Okay, great. As I said, the ducks are enjoying the ponds that are in here now they're hiding out from the duck hunters who might be out on the bay. This becomes a refuge area this time of year. Although I haven't heard any shotgun blasts going off this morning, so there may not be anyone out there this morning. Let me just tilt up a little bit. How's that? It gives you an idea of the cloud patterns. The clouds are breaking up now, and we're starting to get more and more blue sky with the sun breaking through. Very picturesque, I have to say that. All right, let me pan slowly again to the left. This is with the iPhone on my tripod. Alright, that's basically a view due east, and you can see most of the dark clouds are now heading to the east of us, out over the North Atlantic and into New England. And if I swing around to the south-southwest, and you can see this clearing trend behind us. That's basically looking to the southeast right now. Okay, so several folks are saying they did hear the ocean behind us. Yeah, I imagine the barrier beach is taking quite a beating overnight and this morning. So it's going to turn into a partly cloudy day, and then by this afternoon it should clear off. But then the temperature starts to drop as this cold Canadian air is sucked down here behind the storm, behind the front. And tomorrow the high temperatures for the day here will only be about 38, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, as opposed to our 50s right now. All right, we'll just set that there for a little bit and look out over the water. The silhouette of the land and the sailboat there with the sun, the filtered sun in the background. Yeah, it's pretty cold, Neville. Although we've been spoiled for the last 30 to 45 days here. The temperatures have been above normal here on Long Island in the northeast United States. The eastern third of America has been above normal temperatures, and the western half has been below normal temperatures for this fall. But everything evens out in a year's time, so I'm sure we're going to get our time in the bucket now when the colder weather comes east. Although we'll see what happens. You know, you read these predictions of cause and effect of La Nina, what that does to us this year. Lucky Dog, hi to you. Good to see you. Quite a day yesterday, wasn't it? With the driving rains and the 60+ mile an hour winds and everything. It was really something here. Well, yesterday, I mentioned a little earlier, we made out very well, Lucky Dog. It was driving sideways here, the rain, hitting off my doors, my double doors that lead out to the deck. So we had a little water leakage underneath the door into the kitchen. But, you know, towels took care of that and everything. But the rest of the house is fine. There's quite a few branches down around the yard, debris of that type. I'll do some cleanup, yard cleanup a little later. Yeah, that was, I agree with you 100%. That was an incredible winds yesterday. They had to be near hurricane force winds at times. Good morning again, Andrea. We decided to set up on the tripod here and give people a much steadier view of what's going on and a little more of a description. Now with the sun and the cloud patterns, this is really neat right now. Vanita, did I get that right? One hi to you. Yeah, well, look at the flooding this morning, Lucky Dog. This is at high tide this morning, so all of the front yards around here are flooded right now. This is looking at the neighbor's yard, and if I pan around to the left a little bit, we're looking back down toward my dock, which is you can see where the water is now, right? It's the dock is isolated, and the ducks are enjoying the shallow pond. And the water has definitely risen higher in the 15 minutes that I've been out here. So it's still, tide is still flowing in. You will get a little higher. Oh, you do see them, Andrea. Good. Yeah. Yeah, they're enjoying themselves in there because they can bottom feed on the lawn. Let me slowly pan around back this way again then. Let's leave it just like that. No, Andrea, the water did not get anywhere near the porch. If I point that way, it's about 100 feet away from the house right now. If it gets any worse than that, it's time to abandon the ship here, head inland. Although I'll tell you this, folks, and Lucky Dog, you'll appreciate this because you've heard me say this in the past. These flood tides we're getting now are becoming more frequent. They're more common and they're more frequent. Now, obviously, we had a tremendous storm here, which was one of the strongest non-hurricane storms we've experienced here in this area in quite some time. And that has a lot to do with driving the water into the bays and everything. Plus the fact that it's full moon. But more and more, this is becoming a regular occurrence now at full moon time and new moon time, where we're getting front yard flooding here. So I would say this is positive proof, to me at least, because I've been here at this location 42 years now and I've seen the changes. Sea levels are indeed rising. When we first moved here back in the 1970s, we never had anything like this. In fact, by December time, this water would start to freeze. And certainly by Christmas time and into January, we were all out here ice skating, things like that. But you don't see any of that anymore. The water no longer gets that cold to freeze where it's safe to go ice skating. And the tides are now flooding the front lawns here more and more frequently. Just normal. I'm not talking about hurricanes. I mean, we had a huge flooding here, obviously, with Hurricane Sandy and hurricanes before that. But in a normal monthly tide cycle now, this is becoming more common. And then as yesterday, when you get this tremendous storm right around full moon, it just makes it worse. All right, thanks for joining me this morning, good people, and I hope you enjoyed this little nature tour here. Oh, let me just, before I sign off, yeah, Keith, that's a good point. You're so you see it yourself in South Florida. More and more high tide flooding becoming common every month. Let me just swing around that way and look at the break in the clouds to the left, the upper left, as they flow to the east. The wind is going to go around now during the day from the west southwest to the northwest, and it'll bring down a much colder air from Canada during the day. Temperatures will drop all during the day. Beautiful sky. Okay, folks, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I hope I know you did appreciate this. My YouTube and Periscope friends around the country and around the world. Naboul is with us from France today. Keith in Florida, Texas. Oh, yeah, here's another Realm of the Republic. Okay, that's quite a handle. And you're a former Long Islander. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. Jennifer, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate that. Anybody's interested in these types of videos, low-key kind of things, go to my YouTube channel, JKR SpecNet. Also Redstone Soldier. I forget which one you use, but quite a few videos up there of sunrises, things like this, Long Island Railroad trains, walks in the city, in New York City, which I enjoy doing, but that's on the back burner right now during the COVID-19 pandemic. I have not been to New York City since last February, and I really have no intention of going in until we get through this pandemic. And hopefully all of us will get through this by the spring of the year. We're able to get ourselves vaccinated and they get over the hump of this. And unfortunately now, with the numbers again rising in New York, the second wave or second spike, whatever you want to call it, it really wouldn't pay to go into the city right now. Although I miss the walking during Christmas season, during the holiday season. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, folks, for looking in this morning. And again, you can always check out all of these things on replay. And before I leave, I'm going to put a plug in for a fellow live broadcaster, YouTube live streamer. One of the top-notch guys in this area is Dutch Moz. Many of you know him. Dutch is a tour guide, New York City tour guide, who lives in Brooklyn in Bay Ridge and does his wonderful walking tours around his home area in Manhattan, and just a really great guy to watch on the live streaming. So there's my plug for Dutch today. He always plugs me on his broadcast, so I need to plug him for a change. I'm going to shut down in a minute, but I just need to look at this cloud pattern now, see how the sun breaks out. It's just breathtaking here right now. Oh yes, Duty Run is another good, great live streamer. Yeah, there's several in New York City. I haven't seen Marty NYC 888 on. He must be broadcasting, but I haven't seen any of his Midtown Manhattan walks in a while. You're right, Nabul. Dutch Mars, he's awesome. Of course, now he's taking us around at nighttime in the Bay Ridge area, showing us all of the Christmas decorations, all the houses, how they're decorated in his area. That's really, really great to see. We'll keep bringing you early morning silent sunrises here. I like to get up early on a clear morning and get set up out here so we can see the sunrise come over the eastern horizon, southeastern horizon. Now if I point that direction, that's looking geographically to the southeast. And by December 21st, obviously the sun will have reached its southernmost swing, so you'll be seeing the sun rise up on that southeastern horizon around 7:15 in the morning. And let me turn this. Look at that, with the silhouette of the sailboat now, and then the sun breaking through the clouds. Aha, and the sun streams coming down now out of the clouds. Let's just watch this for a minute. That's the sound of the herring gulls. Oh, thank you so much for those comments. I really appreciate it, folks. I'm shielding my eyes and so I can try to read what you're telling me. All appreciated. Okay, now we'll shut down. Thank you again for joining me, and you can always watch these on replay on my YouTube channel. Also Periscope replays. Yeah, the sounds are great, aren't they? I mean, the seagull sounds, the sounds of the ocean in the background. My goodness, the water is still coming in, folks. The tide is still an incoming tide. The bulkheads down there now are totally covered in water. Good morning. No, we're doing a live broadcast, live YouTube broadcast, and I have my friends all around the country and all around the world, for that matter, are taking advantage of me showing what's going on here. Yeah, it's really great. It's a great way to communicate with folks. As a young person that's watching me now from the south of France, and some folks in Florida and Texas and every place, all around the country, all around the world. Isn't that something, Deb? The flooding this morning? Yeah. It's just about peaking out right now. The tide is high, but I'm moving on. All right. What was her name? She did that song? Debbie. Come on, Jim. Come on, you know that. That was a popular song in the late 70s, early 80s. Debbie Harry, was that who that was? Did I get that right? Did the old man get that name right? The tide is high, but I'm moving on. I'm not a singer. Blondie. Oh, okay. All right, well, I was close. I think Blondie, Debbie Harry. That used to be my California music when I was working out in Southern California for my company. Yeah, Debbie Harry. Oh, okay, I see you. I see what you're telling me. Blondie, Debbie Harry was Blondie. I get it. I think I get it. My favorites back in those days used to be the Doobie Brothers. And then for a while I was into the disco music with Earth, Wind and Fire. What was Michael McDonald? Was he the lead singer with the Doobies? What a Fool Believes, that was their big hit, 1979. Eastern Long Island, about 60 miles east of Midtown Manhattan, on the South Shore. Okay, I'm going to shut down now, folks. And again, thank you very much for joining. And everybody have a good day, and glad you spent some time with us here. Take care, and we'll be back on the air one of these fine mornings. We'll see you then.